The Oklahoma City Thunder just played the Phoenix Suns last night in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup, and they beat them by a lot. In fact, they beat them by 49 points. But what's wild is that the Thunder are now 24-1 and are tied for the best start in NBA history. Of course, they're tied with the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. And what we witnessed last night was just something special. And I can't help but think that this team is not normal. They are not normal at all, in all of the best ways. Hello, my name is Nathan, and this is Thunder Up Talk. And I thank you so much for watching all my videos, leaving comments, liking my videos. I really, really appreciate it. So, before we get started about the actual game with the Phoenix Suns and talking a little bit about who we play after, we play the Spurs to hopefully be able to make it to the NBA Cup. I just wanted to talk about this theme of the Thunder not being normal. And I have to start with Shai. So Shai is averaging 33 points a game. He's shooting 60% from two. Let me say that again, 60%. So, of course, he's driving to the basket a lot. But he's also shooting a ton of mid-range shots and not easy ones. They're contested. They are fading away off the dribble, dribbling those little fadeaways at the baseline on either side. Um, he's just incredible. So these are not dunks and easy putbacks that a lot of bigs get. These are tough twos, and he's shooting 60% from two. He is also shooting 45% from three. I don't know if you know that or not, but so far this season, he's 45% from three, which is just absolutely insane, especially when you think about where he started in his career. This guy just keeps getting better and better and better. And to me, he's a clear MVP. He's the best player on the best team. He might be the best player on the greatest team all time when it's all said and done this season. And um, those are just some basic stats. I want to talk about one of my favorite stats that I saw on X. It's from this account, Automatic NBA, because I want to give them credit because this is really, really cool. So Shai's the only player in the NBA who is in the 90th percentile of scoring, playmaking, and defense, meaning he is in the top 10% for scoring, playmaking, and defense using advanced stats. And there's no one else. It's just Shai. Um, so when you have a guy that can do all of those things, score, play make, and play defense, Jokic is awesome. He can play make, he can score, but he's nowhere on Shai's level on defense. Same with Luka. He may be even worse on defense. So all of these things, the winning, the stats, the advanced stats, all point to Shai, in my opinion, maybe being the best player in the NBA, but for sure being the MVP of the league this year. Then the other thing that makes this team not normal is that we have this insane depth. We are so, so deep. So even without Shai, we have a plus 8.2 point differential. That is incredible. And I think it was Steve Nash that said it. It would be the third best point differential in the NBA. So even when Shai isn't on the court, we're still dominating. Now, after that game with the Phoenix Suns, we now have a positive 17.4 differential, which again is extremely historic and will be probably the best point differential by at least 3 or 4 points. Last year's point differential. Um, so to go along with the depth thing, we also have seven guys who are averaging 10 points or more per game. Seven. That's a ton. So the Golden State Warriors, for context, the 73-9 team, they only had four guys who were averaging 10 points or more per game. And then just the other thing that makes this team not normal is they just have like this college feel. Everyone's rooting for each other, everyone's happy, and of course it's easy to do this when we're winning. But you can look back several years ago, and it's always been this way. Just the tight knit, just the fact that this team is so tight knit. It seems like they really like each other, being around each other, and I think it shows on the court, and that's really exciting. It's really exciting as fans because then we can be happy when the bench guys play as well, um, and get excited for when guys like Brandon Carlson score 11 points off the bench, or when Usman Jing scores 11 points and is hitting step back threes randomly in the Suns game. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about the fact that this young team is not normal. And Andrew Schleck talks about this all the time on Down to Dunk. We don't even have an overlapping prime of our big three. Shea is clearly in the kind of the beginning of his prime, but I think Chet and J Dub are still a couple of years away from being the best version of themselves. And for the NBA and for NBA fans, that's got to be real. Or well, for non-Thunder fans, that's got to be really, really scary. For us, it's incredible. Um, so I do want to move on to the actual game against the Suns. So, like I said, we beat them by 49 points. This was the largest win in NBA Cup history. Short history, but still the largest the largest win. It's also for the Suns, unfortunately, the largest deficit in Suns history. So that they've never lost by more than 49 points. Um, it was just a blowout. I was really expecting it to be close. I thought it would go into the fourth quarter and kind of be kind of close, maybe a 5 to 10 point win. But the Thunder just weren't having it. It's like they, put it into a different gear and said, "There's no way that we're losing tonight." Um, Shea, like I said, 28 points in 27 minutes. Super efficient. Chet was incredible, even from the get go. He had like three threes and three blocks and what felt like just bam, bam, bam. So early on in the game. He was extremely efficient. He ended up being 9 of 13 from the field for 24 points. I said Shea scored 28. He was 11 of 15. And then J Dub, he only had 15 points, but he was 5 of 8. So again, extremely efficient and had 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Um, Maybe the most entertaining part of this game was the Grayson Allen shove. So he shoved Chet when Chet was getting ready to set a screen, and Allen tried his best to make it look like he wasn't just completely extending and shoving him, but he was, and he got kicked out of the game. It was a flagrant two. But I really loved J Dub in particular in this moment. He stepped up, stood up for his guy, and was kind of letting Grayson Allen hear it. Of course, we know these NBA guys are never gonna they're never gonna fight. They have too much to lose, getting kicked out of games, losing money. But I do love that competitiveness. I love the competitive spirit. You do have to stand up for your guy. I feel like when something like that happens, so I really appreciated that from J Dub. And like I've mentioned in previous videos, he's the guy that gets the crowd hyped up. So he was, yelling, excited, getting everybody just into it. And so I thought that was awesome as well. One other note, just from this game, Cason Wallace, he was running and he hit his head really hard when he got screened, and I'm guessing we're going to end up getting some kind of information that he's got concussion. He looked pretty woozy when he after he got hit on that screen. So, and they took him out pretty quickly, and he went down and into the tunnel and to the back. So I'm guessing we'll see Cason Wallace missing a game or two, maybe three. Uh, so yeah, hate to see that, but I think we'll be fine. That's the good thing about it. Lastly, I just want to talk about our next game. So we beat the Suns in the Cup. The next Cup game in Vegas will be against the Spurs because the Spurs beat the Lakers late last night. So I'm sure the NBA doesn't love that. Any chance they can get the Lakers to be on TV for like a moment like that, they want it. But at least I did hear news that maybe Wemby could be back for that Cup game against the Thunder, and I love that. I think that will ultimately be, after the Nuggets start to get a little bit older, the Spurs and Thunder, I think has potential to be um, just a great matchup going on throughout the years. So with that, I will talk to you later. Thunder up.